Good evening and welcome to NNX, where we give you your news faster than you can eat a bowl of mac and cheese. I'm Michaela Potter.
And I'm Sylvie Slotkin. Let's start by talking about what's on the very crowded ballot this election cycle. First-term Mayor Daniel Biss faces a challenge from political newcomer Jeff Boarini.
Evanston will also elect a city clerk and representatives for all 9 cities on city council. And both local school districts each have 4 seats up for grabs. Let's take a look at the ward map to get a sense of where these races are taking place. You may notice those lines are drawn a bit differently from in years past. That's because April's election is the first since Evanston completed a years-long redistricting project. The new map will officially take effect on May 12th.
And while there's a lot of races taking place, there's also a lot of high-stakes issues the candidates in those races will have to deal with should they take office. Lance Wilhelm joins us in studio now to break down a few of them. Lance, what issues should voters have their eyes on as they head to the polls?
Yeah, Sylvie, the docket is really full in terms of what's important right now in Evanston. I'll talk about 2 issues with you now. One of them is Envision Evanston 2045. This is an overarching plan that's been talked about for quite some time now. It deals with everything from zoning to affordable housing to parks and transportation here in Evanston. It's something Mayor Biss has really pushed, and it's something that the new set of council members and new elected officials will have to deal with as they determine what's important for the future of the city. Something else I want to talk about is the relocation of government offices here in Evanston. This is something that has also been talked about quite a bit on the show this past couple of weeks. As we know, the offices are currently being moved to a temporary home downtown after being at the Morton Civic Center for 50 years. So it's a big move. There's currently 4 options on the table, and the next set of city council members will have to decide which option to choose for the permanent home of the city government for years to come. And the last thing I want to mention, Sylvie, is sort of what's been the elephant in the room these past couple weeks as the Trump administration has taken office, and that's the tensions between federal authorities and local ones. I mean, the Trump administration has been a frustration for some of the progressive policy goals of Mayor Biss and the City Council, so that's also something that the new set of City Council members will have to deal with.
Great, thank you, Lance.
Evanston's mayoral race is heating up as we approach the home stretch before the election. Incumbent Mayor Daniel Biss is seeking re-election. He hopes that Evanstonians will continue to trust him to lead the city for another 4 years, after managing big projects including the approval of the Ryan Field rebuild.
I think we've made remarkable progress on a couple different trajectories. A lot on affordable housing, on sustainability, on public safety reform, making good on major promises, all while having a responsive and transparent government and really stabilizing and improving the morale in our city government.
Biss's opponent, Jeff Boarini, is a political outsider, having spent his career in corporate media. He says he offers an alternative to Biss and promises more transparency if he were elected.
I will put in a new communications plan in place to get more input from residents, to meet with them on a regular basis, to attend ward meetings, to use technology to get the message out to people and maybe survey them better. That's the piece of it.
We'll keep you updated in the final month of these campaigns.
In Evanston's 5th Ward, incumbent Bobby Burns is facing off against challenger Carlise Sutton. Both candidates are campaigning for a better future for youth. Many residents in Evanston's historically black 5th Ward say their main concern is the youth and their education. Carlise Sutton is a former District 65 teacher who says improving problems in Evanston is core to his campaign for the 5th Ward seat. Current council member Bobby Burns says he plans to target extracurricular programming to keep students interested. Both Burns and Sutton are also concerned with affordable housing.
What I'm trying to do is set up a trust and a land trust where the land will stay affordable at least for the next 90 years, rather than building all these buildings.
Incumbent council member Bobby Burns says he wants to expand on an existing agreement with Northwestern from the new Ryan Field project, which includes funding to develop affordable housing in the 5th Ward.
$30 million over the next 15 years. And so much of our work over the next, over that period around housing is going to be funded by that,
Fifth Ward residents can visit the Fleetwood Jourdain Community Center to cast their votes on April 1st.
While some races will only have one candidate on the ballot, it doesn't mean they're going unchallenged. 2 write-in campaigns have been launched in this year's election. Meg Welch, a federal worker, is campaigning against incumbent Jonathan Nusma for the 4th Ward seat, and Vanessa Johnson McCoy, a real estate agent, is racing against current city clerk Stephanie Mendoza. Johnson McCoy says part of the reason why she's launching her campaign is her past experiences with the current city clerk's office. She says that she had to call 3 times to get information about the election rules. The first 2 times, she didn't get an answer. She was told to send her questions in an email.
That would not be the first response under my leadership, that I would tell and train my staff, let the person ask their questions.
City Clerk Stephanie Mendoza responded to the allegations, saying to NNN, "We're not election lawyers in the office, so anytime that someone calls most offices, we have to be very careful on how we respond. We usually ask for someone's email, so we're sending them the exact form. If you're looking to vote for one of those write-ins, the Cook County Clerk's office says that complete accuracy of a candidate's name is not necessary as long as it appears close enough."
It's more than the mayor's office and the city council up for grabs this election season. 4 seats on the Evanston-Skokie School Board District 65 are also on the ballot, but it comes at the district is struggling. The district's future has been at the foremost of parents' minds recently. Enrollment has been declining for nearly a decade, and it's had consequences. The board recently made a controversial decision to close the district's only bilingual school, the Dr. Bessie Rhodes School of Global Studies, due to funding and enrollment concerns. The school is facing sharp criticism from parents, and it's motivated some to run for the school board. There are 3 times as many parents running as there are seats. Candidates say the community is most concerned about transparency and wants a board that understands diverse topics.
As new candidates compete for a seat on the city council, some are ready to leave theirs behind. NNN's Allison Miller caught up with the 2 council members stepping down at the end of their terms to hear why they are making the move.
Melissa Wynn is not quite checked out yet, but after 28 years representing Evanston's 3rd Ward on City Council, she says it's the right time to step down.
Sitting there with opinions about some of those long-range issues and realizing I have to stop myself and say, I'm not going to be here.
For nearly 3 decades, she's made hundreds of decisions on everything from reparations to residential land use to reviving the downtown. Out of them all, there's one effort Wynn is proudest of, a 1.5-year-long grocery store battle.
Everyone in Evanston knew that we were Trader Joe's customers, and we just had to convince Trader Joe's that we were their customers.
Building this Trader Joe's was a key issue for Wynn during her time on the council. And over in the 7th Ward, the other retiring council member tackled an even bigger issue: rebuild Ryan Field.
It's been particularly tiring this last term because of the Ryan Field issue. And so I'm just ready for a break.
Eleanor Ravel has spent 9 years advocating for her 7th Ward residents. To keep track of it all, she uses a massive paperwork system.
I actually kept a log of people saying yes and people saying no.
As the chair of the Housing and Community Development Committee, Ravel hopes her successor will continue on her fight for lowering housing costs in the city.
We know we have an affordable housing problem, but we don't know how many more units we really need.
Wynn is also concerned about affordable housing. She says Evanston's residents can make the difference on big issues like these.
We have a lot of interesting, thoughtful, caring people who live in Evanston, and I'm really going to miss the people contact.
Wynn and Ravel will stay on the council until late this spring. In Evanston, Allison Miller, Politicat.
In retirement from the council, both Ravel and Wynn hope to stay involved in the community through volunteering. Thank you so much for watching tonight's NNN. Well, that's all the time we have for tonight on the special edition of NNX. I'm Michaela Potter.
And I'm Sylvie Slotkin. Stay tuned for our full election special coming up at the top of the hour. Good night.